Yes, having no clients, it sucks. You're struggling to fill your calendar and get more bookings. It can be very frustrating and leave you overwhelmed and, wondering sometimes whether it's even worth moving forward. I know what that feels like. This was my calendar a few years ago. I was a construction manager. I was earning $75,000 a year. We've now built a $3.8 million business, and I get it. In the beginning, it can be really tough to get your momentum happening so that you can get clients coming in consistently. I definitely struggled for a long time to figure things out. I really did not want to go back to my job. I had quit my job and there was no way I was going back. So I had to figure this stuff out. Like, I had to do it. There was no stopping me. I tried all kinds of stuff. I had quite a bit of savings, but I didn't have any idea of what I was going to do, where I was going to go. I knew I wanted to coach people. I knew I wanted to teach people things that I was passionate about. This was a given. One of the things I was passionate about was real estate, and real estate is super competitive. This picture here was when I first got started. You can see my scribblings on the back of me here. Old type camera. I bought all the stuff secondhand to kind of get things going. I dumped like $40,000 to $50,000 into education and ads at this point, and it was just gone in a flash. It was very disheartening. The biggest thing was that I was worried that there was so much competition out there. I was never going to be able to compete. I was never going to be able to get out there and actually achieve anything. It was my own limiting self-beliefs that were holding me back from being able to get out there and actually crush it. But at this point in my life, I was feeling overwhelmed and depressed. But there is obviously a barrier to entry, and I needed to figure out the simplest, quickest way to get into doing what I wanted to do. And I really had to zoom out to get clarity. I didn't want to do certain things at that point. I didn't want to do cold calling. I didn't want to do DMs and direct message people. I didn't want to set up long email lists and spend all that time putting together an email list and writing lots of emails and all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't where I was at. I didn't want to be pushy if I was selling, so I needed to figure out how I was going to get people to buy from me without being a pushy salesperson. I didn't want to do SEO, and I didn't want to make a whole lot of downloads and create all these email lists and do all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't for me. That's just what I didn't want to do. So I was very clear about what I didn't want to do. What I did want to do and what I was prepared to do was work hard. I was prepared to create all the training and education and things that I needed to do to teach people and help people. Creating training was something that I could do and wanted to do. I didn't know at the time how that would look. I just knew that this was something I could do. I could make ongoing content. I didn't feel comfortable in front of a camera at first. It was really hard to get out in front of a camera and start doing this stuff. But I figured that if I didn't, how was I ever going to move forward and be successful? So I took that and created a process for myself so that I could get in front of a camera and talk about the things that I love talking about to help people. Finally, I was prepared to pay for ads. I was prepared to put money into this system so that I could learn and get clients. I figured that paying for ads was the fastest way that I was going to be able to grow and learn and get clients. I didn't want to spend months and months and months doing SEO, doing content, doing all this other stuff that would just take forever. I'm very impatient, so I wanted things to happen pretty quickly. So paying for ads was one of the things I was okay with, and I had a bit of savings. It wasn't a big budget, so I had to be very careful about what we were going to spend. I had this vision of creating something that I could put money into and get money out of, right? Everybody wants that. And I was no different. Obviously, I wanted to have a system where I could put $1 in and get $2 out. Like, what did that money cycle look like? How could I create something with no experience, no knowledge, no background, no testimonials, no people that I've ever helped before? What was it going to look like to turn something positive out of this and create a money cycle? So I was really against the wall here to try and figure this out, which led me ultimately to creating this system. Now, the journey to this is not straightforward and took a little while, but I've distilled it into the most simplest version of what I do right now to run our businesses, to literally have everything on autopilot. This was the foundation. Once I figured this stuff out, it really became so much easier to get clients because I have this formula, because I know the foundations, and I could go literally into any niche right now and I could be able to get clients and be able to dominate that niche because I figured out the nuances of the algorithms and I've worked really hard to get an understanding of what it takes to systematically get clients down the pathway where they feel comfortable, where they trust, and then take the next step to buy into the programs that we deliver. This is called our client acquisition formula. Now, what this allowed me to do once I figured this out was to really accelerate our journey. The last couple of years, the growth has been exponential. So we're perpetually growing and growing and growing. It's a really good place to be. And so what it's all done really is give us this capacity to go from, having nothing, knowing nothing, to building a successful multi-million-dollar business where we're able to help clients on a regular basis. Our calendar is jam-packed. The business is now running by itself. It's in the real estate sector. Literally, we've got a team running it. We don't even have to be there on a day-to-day basis. It's a really awesome place to be when you've been able to create a business that you can work on rather than working in. That's what we're trying to help you accomplish. This is the website of the business that we started in real estate. What's really interesting about what we've done is we've turned nearly just under $100,000 of ad spend into about $3.8 million of profit because of how we followed this system. And we've also helped our clients create about $5.8 million in recurring revenue across the board for all of our clients that we've been helping so far, which is really cool. I think that's a really great milestone for us, for where we've come from. It also allowed us to go out there and coach people. We're selling coaching programs, speak across the country, and help tons and tons of people get success in the programs that we deliver. It's a really awesome feeling to be able to do this, but the journey started here. So this is kind of a timeline of what I went through to develop the system. Sitting under that tree, this was kind of the napkin idea. Actually, it was just this first part, and this back end has developed over the last few years into what has helped us scale to get to that plus $100,000 a month mark at this stage. So it's really cool. So what I'll do is I'll zoom in a little bit here. Right in the beginning, when I was sitting under the tree, one of the key things I needed to work out very quickly was what my platform was. What does it look like right now for me to survive? How much money did I need to be able to stay out of my job and be able to move forward with what I wanted to do? At that point, it was $2,500 a week to be able to live well, and that was my target. I created in my mind a platform. I had to do whatever it took to get that $2,500 a week, which was ultimately $10,000 a month. So that was my starting point, and I fixated on that. I drew that on my vision board to be totally focused on that's what I needed to do as a starting point. And I'm sure a lot of people get this for themselves, is that mindset is everything, right? You're playing the game of mindset. So I've spent a lot of time and money and energy really getting in tune with my mindset, really getting motivation, the focus, energy, and clarity so that I could perform every day, right? I've got responsibilities. I've got to look after my family. I've got to look after my staff. I've got to make sure that every day runs well. And sure, we all have bad days, but to limit those bad days. And so I spend a lot of time focusing on meditating, eating well, keeping my nutrition up, getting really good sleep. I spend a lot of money and energy right now focusing on getting really, really good sleep, and that sleep has made such a huge difference. And then the next thing I needed to really get a handle on was the direction I was going to take. Now, me and my partner, Sahara, we were very passionate about real estate. Real estate has been our thing for many, many years, but had no idea about how we were going to break into the market, had no idea about how or what we were going to teach. So we had to really start from the beginning and figure out how we would fit into this niche, what we could deliver, how we could deliver it. No testimonials, no real anything. So we were really starting from scratch. And this journey is really about how to break into a really big niche and be able to grow from there. And now we're dominating in that space. We're making regular, constant, positive cash flow from it. And it's a really good feeling. Getting a niche is super important. When you get the niche component right, your targeting is better, your ads are cheaper, you're getting better conversions, the people coming down your pipeline are so much more qualified because your messaging is clear. It's much better outcome when you know and you're clear about your niche. We have a system now that we've developed to actually get clarity on a niche. Coaching has a very nuanced way of delivering. It's not like an agency. As a coach, you need to provide transformation and solution and get people to a place physically, mentally that they want to get to, accomplishment. With the consulting or agency type environment, it's more of a financial reward. At first, we didn't have any idea about what our product was going to be, what we're going to deliver, what we're going to sell. And so this was the next phase that we needed to take. And this is a very big lesson from experience, from working with other people is that if you have a formula, you can charge really high amounts of money for a product. So what I mean by that is that everybody is trying to be the same as everybody else. Like if you can create a formula, a process that is your own process, and you can demonstrate this process and how it works and provide clarity in this, it's a game changer, and it allows you to charge some money for what you're delivering. Obviously, you've got to deliver on that outcome. If you create clarity in your process, it's really worth so much more than just trying to sell what everyone else is selling. I've learned, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, is that your passion, your energy, your commitment to helping people is valuable, and people will spend money on that if you position yourself the right way, because they can see your passion, they can see that you're ready to do and help them, and that's part of the process that you're selling, right? That's part of your formula. The next thing is people want confidence. So if you can demonstrate clarity, how people can get from A to B confidently, and you can demonstrate that visually, it makes it so much more valuable. If you can deliver on a shortcut, if you're showing people how, if they do it their own way, they're continuing doing things the way they're doing it right now, it's going to take them a lot longer. But if they follow these steps exactly, it dramatically shortcuts that timeline, getting those results a lot faster. The formula also creates clarity, and so we created our formula, and you'll see that it's a step-by-step process that we take you on to remove all the overwhelm so that you can see what's next. You know what the next step is, and if you know and clear about the next step, it makes life so much easier. If you can show results in something that you've accomplished, if you can provide accountability, and if you're providing a like-minded environment like community or networking events where people come together, that's worth so much. So I learned very quickly that if I packaged all this together, I could sell my packages for $5,000 plus. We currently sell packages based around this formula between $15,000. Actually, we've pushed the price up now. It's $18,000 is our starting price for our real estate coaching business. And so it starts at $18,000, and then we're selling packages where we're making up to $50,000 in a package, right? This is how we positioned ourselves. And people are buying it because mostly they see the clarity in what we're providing. They see the process that we've got, and that's what's giving them confidence to move forward and buying into the packages that we're selling. It's really, really powerful. Now, the next thing was, once I learned and understood what I was going to sell, how I was going to package that, what it was going to look like, I then needed to connect with people, right? I needed to be able to get people to trust me. Right now, video is one of the most important tools you can learn to master to connect with people, to build trust, to build that connection and get people to come down the path with you where you're reaching out your hand and people are ready to take that hand. I learned about empathy, and empathy is super, super powerful. And when you can connect with people and they can see that you've been on the same journey as them and you can help them break out of that cycle, it is very empowering and it builds super trust. I like to call it an empathy video because I think the empathy component is what's really missed in a lot of the sales videos these days. There's no connection. So I wanted to be able to connect with my audience and make them feel comfortable and loved and cared about so that they can feel that trust and it's easier for them to move forward working with us. The next layer up was I needed to create a way to get people curious and interested about me, paying for ads. And so when I first started paying for ads, cost of the ads was blowing my brains, right? It was very expensive. I couldn't figure out how I was going to get my ad cost down and get calendar bookings at a rate that was sustainable, because to get my high ticket clients took a little while to turn things over. And I was testing all kinds of stuff. And then lo and behold, one day I thought I would try something. And what I did was I created what I call now a butterfly post. There's a nuance to this to really warm up the traffic before they actually get to my ads. This part here drastically reduced my cost for advertising and massively increased the quality of clients scheduling appointments with me, which was huge. And then I filled in a retargeting method, started to really amp things up, and it was a game changer. Putting these three components together, it's really been a radical leverage for our business where the ads is driving really high results because we're using a system, a call them butterfly posts because they go out there into the ether. The platforms are using these in their algorithms to warm up your clients and then throwing in the conversion ads to really get people attracted and hooked in. The next is I needed to create a system to sell. Two things people need when they do business with somebody else is first, they need to desire to want to work with that person, and they need to have faith that you're going to get them over the line. And if those two are ticked off, boom, the game is over, right? No one can compete with you. You've got a sale. There's nothing more to it. And so I created a process where I call it the score selling system. It's a series of questions, 5 questions that increases the desire and the faith, and much easier to sell. This is the best way I've ever found of closing people without being all pitchy and selly. It's made a huge difference. So I built this system, right? If I zoom out a little bit here. So this system was a game changer, which is what I showed you before. The formula that I created, I had an empathy video, which was in front of the formula. So this is where my calendar booking happened. I then started running ads to my empathy video, and this reduced the ad cost. Once I added the butterfly post system in there, it really amplified the results, and we're getting bookings on our calendar. So this is the foundation to our business to really growing. Once we got these foundations right, the rest of it has become so much easier. And we have a system for everything that we've done as we've gone through our journey. I've distilled the whole process that we've gone through, and I've made it easy for other people to be able to tap into. So I want to help them not just get to $10,000 a month, but go to 50 and 100 and plus. And the only way to do that is by going through this process. I don't think there is any other way to do it where you wouldn't get overwhelmed. Just as a note, this formula that I created, it was just an outline when I first started. It wasn't a full training program. I just created the foundation of what my program would look like. And then as I started getting people into my process, I would then incrementally be teaching people, helping people, teaching, recording those videos, and then slowly building up the value in our back end, which allowed us then to ultimately, as we were getting more and more content and value and things and testimonials, that kind of stuff, we jumped our prices up to $15,000. So we started at 5. Actually, the very first program, the very first one I sold was about $3,000. And then I realized that I could sell it for higher, and I went to $5,000. And then I wasn't probably about 2 months later, I was at $15,000, and we were kind of up at $15,000 until just recently we pushed it up to $18,000. People will pay for something when you can show them clarity, give them confidence, there's a shortcut, and all these things fit into your formula. Going up to the next stage, I needed to start getting a handle on cash flow because we were spending money. We didn't know where we were in terms of cash flow. At what point could we hire the next person? So the very, very next big point was to create a spreadsheet, I suppose a tracking system to quantify the numbers so that we can be in control of cash flow. Because cash flow is everything. When you know what your numbers look like, everything becomes so much easier because now you can make better decisions. You become more confident. Like I call this the ultimate confidence. You know, if you put X amount of money in this, you're going to get X result out of this. And that is really what creates successful business. Now we knew our numbers. One of the things we realized is that if we made people happier and they would stick around for longer, it became very clear that this was really important. So advocacy and loyalty. So loyalty is when people stick around and they're getting results. Advocacy is telling other people about what you've done. The next layer up was then to look at our processes and systems to create efficiency, savings, and to make your business more scalable. If you have processes and systems in place, it makes life a lot easier. Then it's going to come to a point, and this is exactly what happened to us, is we now realized that we couldn't do this on our own. So we had to start looking at building an alpha team, the team that's going to make you money. Having a good team is critical. You can't do it by yourself. You have to outsource. I got to a point where our business was starting to tick over really nicely. We were getting consistent bookings. We were getting a lot of good consistency in our business following our method. The next layer up was profit ascension, looking at what you've got now without adding more to it and improving your internal structure. For instance, we're throwing in challenges, or we're throwing in other events, live events, smaller type things that really add impact, provide value to the client, also a bottom line profit model to our business. The next was increasing the outreach. As we're starting to get a handle on all the numbers, our staff was in place, we were in a good position. It was then looking at where we can increase more ad spend, looking at things like cold outreach, things like going onto other platforms where we could really increase the results that we were getting from the money that we were spending on reaching out to people. That's allowing us to steadily dominate our sector through this process. Then at this point, we realized that we wanted to make a big jump. We wanted to help more people on another level, and it wasn't that difficult to do. We added 2 golden tickets. When I say golden tickets, these are very high price back-end models that we added. The first was an event. This event sold for $15,000. The next thing that we did was we partnered with other people in this high ticket or golden ticket model. We're making about $50,000 per package that we're selling. We're not really changing anything in the front end. We've just added this $50,000 package at the back, and in doing that, we're creating a revenue stream for us at about $50,000 each. All of this has been working towards us getting out of the business and running the business rather than being stuck in the business in the day-to-day minutia. By putting all of these systems in place over time, and it hasn't taken that long to do, it's just been incrementally plugging in the pieces, developing the systems, which is what we help our clients with now. We call this Royal Elevation, and this is where the business is looking after itself. It's systematized. It allows you to be working on the business rather than in the business, and it gives you the time freedom to either continue doing this at a larger scale or maybe look at other avenues that you can grow into, right? And at the end of the day, all of this, everything that we've done, is about building this at the back end, right? It's the healthy, wealthy, happy life that we create, where we've got all that we need. We're building our own wealth. We're living a happier life. We're not being stuck building other people's dreams, building our own dreams. This is what's working right now. I believe that there's no other way to build a coaching business rapidly other than by following these steps all along the way. It's a very crystal clear path to getting to $100,000 a month plus. This is what we're helping our clients with, and it's helped me distill all of those processes into a 3-phase system to help our clients launch, grow, and scale their businesses without overwhelm. This is a very systematic approach to growing a business. We have the client-funded acquisition formula, which is the starting point. We help our clients put all these pieces together. It's the very foundational components of a coaching business to create a course that you can sell at a high ticket price, and then putting all the pieces of the puzzle in there to get this sold at a very low cost so that you can make a profit and grow a business successfully. And then ultimately adding all the multipliers, the growth multipliers on the back end of it. So instead of feeling like you're fire hosed the whole time, feeling like you're overwhelmed, we provide clarity, the exact steps to help coaches and consultants to get to that $100,000 a mark. This is the process that you must take if you want to have the success you're looking for. And clarity is what we're helping you with, so you know exactly what to do next. You have 2 choices. You can have more clients and have confidence, or you can have less clients and be struggling with the overwhelm. I know what I would choose. I chose more clients, I chose confidence, and I developed a system around this. We have a coach launch program to help you get to $100,000 a month with zero overwhelm, and we guarantee our results. If you want to find out more, click on the button or the link below this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there.